Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to House of Horrors Month. And we are going to be reviewing a 80s film, a horror film, like body horror movie from 1985, I believe. Yeah. And it's a Stuart Gordon movie that's one of his best films, Re-animator, the original Re-animator. I reviewed the sequel, so I don't have to review that one. One of the greatest horror movies ever made? Yeah, definitely of the 80s. This is the Blu-ray that came out back in 2011. It's got a ton of special features that I have to see. What can I say about Re-animator? This movie was definitely a game changer in the mid 80s. It was not a slasher film. It was not a vampire movie. It wasn't a werewolf movie. It was a body horror movie where, there's a lot of body parts and things that get ripped apart and heads talking and just a lot of great practical effects and gore and really a showcase of really good horror, work, masterwork back in 1985. The film is only about 80 minutes long, I think. Well, yeah, 86 minutes. So this film goes by quick. Some horror movies nowadays just they don't get to the point. They're like 2 hours. I'm like, no, get us through it and we'll do it. And this movie has tons of atmosphere. Like Stuart Gordon knows how to make a set look interesting, and the lighting is good. You can see what's going on. He doesn't shake the camera. He doesn't use CG because there was no CG in '85. Has a good cast. You have Jeffrey Combs as a lead scientist who makes this green goo. Here it says here. Let's read the synopsis. Deep within the morgue at the Miskatonic University, madman Herbert West, that's Jeffrey Combs, introduces fellow graduate student Dan Kane, Bruce Abbott, to his formula for the reanimation of fresh corpses. But the secret of life and death has some very messy consequences. It always does when you try to play God. Get ready to experience one of the most outrageously inventive, over the top classic horror films of all time. Yeah. This also has David Gale, Robert Sampson, and Barbara Crampton. I think she was in what was it, From Beyond, which I liked the film. I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was just kind of weak and took me out of it. The effects were good though. But here, John Beekler did the makeup effects. They're really well done. Like this head, the severed head talks. It's really well done. The animatronics that they used, the puppeteering they used, the practical gore. There's no bad CGI gore like in a sci-fi movie now. And the film looks great. It still holds up. The effects still hold up. The story still holds up. It's a very simple story. And Barbara Crampton is a hot chick, but a hot chick that can actually act. The movie, just has a tone that I really like. And basically, a lot of Asians did this kind of this kind of animation in their Japanese mangas and animes, where there's over the top blood and gore and shoved in your face, with these some of these animes that have come out recently. And look what it says, ingenious, right here. It has as much originality as it has gore, and that's really saying something. Yeah, it is original. It's the first movie, H.P. Lovecraft's version, and it's way better than the sequels. I like Bride of the Re-animator. Beyond Re-animator is kind of weak. It felt like a foreign movie with the Re-animator names plastered on. Here, it works to its benefit. The film, they actually have a nice the score to this is basically the Psycho theme. Dun 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 dun. It sounds just like the Psycho theme. It's like the Psycho theme played backwards. It's like dun 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 dun. That's atmospheric. That score it's an homage. It's not a complete ripoff because this was around the time that they did the Psycho sequels, 2, 3, and 4, which were made after the original, years after. And yeah, I think Jeffrey Combs does a good job as a lead actor. He's an actual actor. He's not a freaking foreigner that can't act or is hiding an accent, which I'm sick of. And it's just masterfully made. Like I haven't seen this movie in years, but I know that it still holds up because I see the scenes on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, they could make these effects without using computers, using hands, manufacturing with the hands, and not or a green screen or blue screen or freaking it's really well done stuff. And if you've never seen this movie, see it. This is a definitely must watch for any horror fan of the horror genre. It's perfect for Halloween. It's got atmosphere, it's got gore, it's got good likable characters. Even your lead mad scientist Combs is so charismatic that he can carry the movie by himself. If it was just him with the body with these corpses coming to life, it would work for me because he's just fantastic. And the film is, it's well produced. I don't usually don't say that nowadays because now producers are idiots that want to make garbage. Now, never remake this movie, Hollywood. Never, ever remake this. You can never recapture the atmosphere, the look of the '80s, your lead, the freaking practical effects. You can never redo this movie like they tried to do with Psycho. They remade it and it was horrible. This is well done, and if you've never seen it, you could see this, and if you skip the sequels, it's not the end of the world because this is how you do it. The green slime, I like that it looks like the Nickelodeon slime, and the film, it's not long. I'm glad that it's not 2 hours because a horror movie doesn't need to be too long. Like I love The Conjuring, but it's a little bit too long, and the sequel as well. I haven't seen the sequel, but I've heard that it's a little bit long. It's like 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, we get it at an hour and 40, guys. Horror doesn't need to be too long because then it drags, and I'm like, oh, I'm bored. This never gets boring. There are flaws. There's some things that don't work. Like some of the dialogue is a little bit, like dated. But other than that, the movie is really well done. See this movie. It's worth your time. It is a horror film all the way through, and it works well. So sorry to keep this short, but I got other things to do. So see Re-animator for yourself, and on Blu-ray it looks great. I know I saw it a couple years ago, so I know that. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next review.